will definitely be in the forefront, you know, if the numbers could be caught early and so on. So that's great news. And that's even coming from forums that I have sat on. Right now, Africa is really looking much better than most places. You know, here in the US, we're still destabilized. However, we must say that we're fortunate enough that we have a government that even if they put a little bit of change in your account, it's better than nothing. Most places don't have that ability. So that is one. And then now that I think most people have come on, I'm going to lead us into our grounding exercise so we can move forward with this. Grounding exercise, what is this for? What is the purpose of this? It just allows us to relax, and it's also a way for me to teach you guys a technique that you could use at home with your children, with your families, in case anybody is experiencing anxiety during this time, a lot of fear and so on. There is always a solution. That's what I believe in, that there's always a solution. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're seated comfortably. Your spine is straight as if you have stacked coins, one on top of the other. Your vertebrae must be straight, because this way, if you choose to lay down, by all means, please do. If you're at home, you know, these are things, the beauty of doing these things at home is that we can use the space the way we want to. But the idea is to make sure that we allow our rib cage to be able to expand so that we can inhale as much as possible, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to roll those shoulders up and bring them down, all right? Oh, that actually feels really good. Let's do that again. Just roll them and bring them down, and make sure that you just feel that your tummy, you know, your belly button is actually kind of supposed to be pulled in a little bit. When we do this and roll our shoulders back, our chest kind of opens up, allowing that airwave cavity to open up really well so that we can inhale and exhale. And even when we do this, we sort of feel the body where the tension might be, especially for you mothers out there who are nursing and in the positions that you sit to hold the baby. You might have feel that there's a lot of tension in those muscles. So this is a great exercise to be doing while you're seated, just to make sure that it allows you to be in neutral spine as much as possible. Even before breastfeeding, you may want to hold the baby, roll the shoulders back, and then position yourself to breastfeed the baby. Otherwise, we overcompensate on certain sides, okay? All right, so in this position, your back is straight, your shoulders are back, your chest is wide open. Let's take in our first deep breath through the nose. Exhaling from your mouth. Ooh. Do that again. All right, do that again, deep breath. Exhaling from your mouth. Ooh. Yes, do that again. One more time. This time we're going to breathe in love. Breathe in, inhale love. Filling your lungs with air, and exhale fear. Push it all the way out of your system, all the way out. Inhale love, one more time. And exhale anything that is no longer serving you. Exhaling from your mouth. Inhale confidence. And exhale doubt. Inhale peace. And exhale anything that makes us feel anxious. At this particular time, I'm going to invite you to just imagine yourself in one of your favorite places, wherever that may be. For me, it is the beach you see behind me. I'm going to welcome you to imagine in this place, this wonderful place, your happy place. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? For me, my happy place is the beach. I can feel the sand, the wind blowing, smell the ocean, hear the breeze, hearing the leaves moving on the trees. Be as descriptive as you could possibly be. Feel security, feel safe in your happy place. I invite you to smile in your happy place because it feels good. Deep breath through your nose. And exhale from your mouth. I'm going to invite you to pay attention to the contact and where you're sitting, your back, your feet, your hands. Bring your attention to your body. With everything that's going on right now, we spend a lot of time in our minds and stories and worries and doubts and anxiety. So much unknown. But in our happy place, we feel safe. Breathe in and breathe out. And release. Excellent. I'm going to allow you to sit there for another 30 seconds. Make sure you smile. Feel good. Allow those endorphins to be released. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Awesome. How is everybody feeling now? Anybody wants to share how they're feeling? You can just unmute yourself as I let other people come in.
More present.
Sorry?
More present.
More present. Very good. What are the things that tell you that you're more present?
Like I'm here. I'm not like, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? What do I need to do now?
Correct. Correct. And this time, that's what happens. And we're women. We're multitaskers. So if you think you could do 100 things in one day, imagine what your mind is doing. It's overpowered at like a gazillion, billion, trillion things happening from when you wake up until you lay down. So it's good to sort of allow the mind to ease away from all the thinking and allow yourself to be present. And allow yourself to feel the goodness of everything. Thank you very much for sharing, Rose. Anybody else would like to share before we move forward? Okay. So if nobody else is ready to share about that, all I want to do is offer that to you anytime. You can use that anytime, anywhere. If you go out on the streets and you forgot your mask and you start hyperventilating, stop, take a deep breath. You know, if you feel your children have ran outside and they're not covered or protected, pause, take a deep breath. I think it's important because once we inhale, actually, physiologically, what happens is that once we increase the oxygen in our bloodstream, it helps us trigger the happier hormones. And this is why we do much better when we work out, because we've increased that the oxygen in our bloodstream, and it also helps us have positive thoughts. Okay, so and of course in a time like this, if you're like me, I can go down a rabbit hole real quickly with one sad story. Like the other day, I'm going to share a little bit of my vulnerability. I went driving in Baltimore City. I live in the county, but this is in the city, and I drove through the city because I was trying to go see if I can drop my car off at the mechanic. I didn't even end up doing that. I went through the city and I saw all the beggars on the streets and everybody, all the young children of color with no masks. Especially the beggars. They're the ones that I cried. I turned around and cried all the way home because the message for the world is stay home, stay safe. Where do you go when you're homeless? And this is the message that is being sent out to the world. So I really felt, I felt helpless. I felt, I just all overwhelmed. you know, a lot of overwhelm. It was really depressing. But I came home and I allowed myself to cry. Also, thank goodness for masks and hats. Nobody could see me crying all the way home because I don't cry pretty. I don't cry pretty. My face is a hot mess when I cry. But you know, thank goodness for the mask. Nobody knew what was going on. And but I came all the way home, and I didn't really get to do what I sought out to do. But it was also a reality check because I realized I've been home a lot and have not been exposed to a lot of what's going on out there. So, but I think that these type of things, like these forums, are great that we can support one another, listen to one another, and validate one another. You know, so a lot of what right now, all we want to do is be heard and seen. So before we get into our program, I wanted to answer, in case you guys are wondering what's back here. I started to talk about it before, and I wanted to wait. So this is like the thing that I've given birth to in the last month. You know, on quarantine, I'm a high energy sister. I don't know how to just sit still. I have to do something with my hands, or I'm going to drive my children nuts and over cleaning. And I found myself cleaning the door handles, including the handles to the closets in the bedrooms. I found myself doing that because I can go very far. I could be excessive if I'm not controlled. I have my own levels of anxiety when it comes to germs since I was a child. So I found all of that playing in my life again. And so I had to do something. So before I overcleaned my hands, which got really cracked, and I had to start using aloe to seal those cracks. You know, it really got bad. But I had to do something with my mind so that I can not drive everybody, my loved ones, crazy. So since we're all in quarantine, right? So I started this program, which has been Mondays to Wednesdays, just building a natural hair community. And it seems to have grown internationally, which is like always been my thing. I've always thought of how do you go beyond the borders? You know, I mean, I am a child of the world, so at least that's what I consider myself to be. And so this community and this forum has opened up for so many people, including Kenyans in the diaspora, African Americans in the US, because we're all going through this for the first time. So there's been a question from Vivian. Kirigo, how did your session with Felicia Leatherwood go? It was amazing. So on this forum, believe it or not, 3 weeks later, last week, Wednesday, Felicia Leatherwood, celeb stylist to the star. She does, Jill Scott, and so many others. And she does their hair, and she was my guest on the show. It was amazing. She dropped some serious nuggets for us. She actually talked to the people on the forum because she's also in the natural hair community as a stylist. And she was saying, you know, she has a really famous brush. I don't know if you guys know. And her market has always been geared towards the types 4C, you know, the rejected community is what we call it, or the community that is served the best by sister locks, you know, the 4C, 4D type hair. That's her niche. And so she created a brush for you guys. So if you guys wanted to know more about that, then, you know, you could always look up Felicia Leatherwood. But she talked to us as people in the industry to think beyond just going behind the chair, to think what happens 10 years from now, 11 years from, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. That's what she encouraged us to do. So it was amazing, Viv, and thank you for remembering. She's so dope. Yeah. And oh yeah, she did offer her brush. I think if you go in there and then you say that you were on my live show, last week, Wednesday date, I think you should be able to get a discount. And if you know anybody with a type 4C, 4D hair, or 4 period, A, B, C, D, E, F, all of those, Felicia's brush is excellent for you. Personally, for me, I'm not trying to brush my hair. This is why I have sister locks. I have such a tender head. So sister locks was the best answer for me. Okay, so let's get into what we're planning on doing. So far, what is going on at studio? Edna will hop on and talk about product delivery and product availability, and that happening very soon. And we shall also announce, now the only thing is our retightening class, if you're in Kenya, is very limited. The the maximum number of people have already been registered, and until that there's another opening, only because we're limited in terms of the tools and because things are not being shipped the way they usually are. And it's been a lag in that. However, we are moving forward. We are rebranding at Studio, so we're excited about that. That's one thing we've been doing as a team during this time. So you'll start seeing you know, our new colors and things like that. Even when you come into Studio, you should start seeing a little bit of what we're doing, a little bit of rebranding, transformation, renewal. Our staff is being trained on how they're going to virtually support you guys. And this is a great way for them to make an income because nothing is coming in for them at all. And it's also a great time for them. They've been getting classes on how to budget during this time, to sort of let go certain expenditures, just like the majority of us have basically. But some of us, when we don't have someone to guide us, you know, we might not, you know, we might not catch or do the things that we need to do immediately to correct things as things are changing so rapidly. But our staff has been continually being informed on what to expect and how to manage their finances at this particular time, and how Studio is also moving towards supporting everyone, even if it's just a little bit. For those, because there were some clients who had asked about that. Somebody has also mentioned they would like to take a self-retightening class, but because half of the locks are damaged, yeah, that you're definitely not a candidate if half of your locks are damaged. You definitely need to get support soon, and you would then qualify for one of the virtual classes which will allow you, because it's going to be, we're going to have a system where we have to do all consultations, mandatory consultations right before setting appointments. And then those ones are free, but that tells us what is going on with you, who the best stylist is going to be for you, and how much time we need to allocate for you. And because we know that many people were already in a schedule and are anticipating to get their retightening, and you may be beyond 8 weeks, and we know that there's a crisis, we understand that. We encourage you right now to be making sure that you're separating. Continue to wash your hair. Make sure you're bundling your braids. If you have not received the video on how to wash your hair at home, make sure you reach out to Studio so that they could send it to you. It's a step-by-step on what to do from bundling right up to separating at the end. But if you're at home, washing with the tips of your fingers or the pads of your fingers, please, in this motion, in that motion, following the grid lines. That's the safest way to not destabilize the Sister Locks grid, especially at this time. And most importantly, after washing, while your hair is damp, separating everything at the roots. Same thing for naturalistas. If you're at home and you're washing your hair, make sure you are doing the pre-poo ahead of time. Separate your hair, please, ahead of time, so that in sections, so that when you start going in there to wash your hair and shrinkage is real, it's going to occur, that you can manage it without so much tangling. And maybe you might want to pre-poo with a conditioner, wash, and then condition again, where you could comb through each section. All of that is available to you. Then the other thing is, so what we don't want is for some clients to get frustrated because they're like, well, I was supposed to go, you know, when you guys closed, I was first. And then you might find yourself in the second to third week. Why would that even happen? Once, because there's a criteria we're going to follow when we do the virtual consultations before setting an appointment for you. We want to look at how much growth, any damage that has been happening, how much longer could you possibly go if you had to push you in the back of the line. We're going to do the critical ones first. Anybody who just recently installed and didn't get their follow-up retightening or has washed and their slippage. So we have a criteria of what we call critical cases. There'll be our first priorities. And then after that, we'll start putting in the rest. So we want to make sure that this is clear ahead of time so that there's no misunderstanding. Secondly, our cleaning sanitization requirements are high. The standards are extremely high, and we plan on being on top of that. Staff is currently in training on what they're going to be doing before your arrival. while upon arrival, during your service, and once you leave. So there's going to be a lot of cleaning, okay? So keeping your appointment is key, because what happens is that for each client who comes in, the new standard is that your station is going to be cleaned up to 30 minutes to 20 minutes before you arrive. The place is sanitized. You arrive, you're going to sanitize at the gate upon arrival, wash your hands at the wash station outside, walk in and probably have to sanitize. Then you sit down, and then you're going to be covered. Capes are going to be kept on throughout the entire service until you're ready to leave. We're asking for your cooperation, and understand that if you're going to have to wear a mask during the service. Stylists are going to wear masks. They're going to be covered. The reason why we want you to do this, although we don't foresee this, so that you're well aware of what you need to ask for when you come to the salon. If you see a stylist is not well covered, then you need to bring up that topic, because we want to ensure your safety as well as our staff and ourselves. Other than that, staff will also be covered. Basically, whatever they travel in to get to work, the point is that they need to change from that and then put different garments to work, and with that will be some protective gear on top of that. We've been seeking advice from people who are in the experts. We're not experts, we're experts in sister locks. So these other areas we've had to reach out to other experts so we can get some of the information, and so that we can prepare ourselves. And why this is important for us to be talking to one another is that you guys could continue to add all your questions, all your concerns on the link towards the group WhatsApp, directly to the salon phone, so that we can address all of these questions and avoid any kind of confusion once we open up. Why we need to be on the same page is that when you are asked to put on a mask or a cape, anybody who is not complying, I'm sorry, you will not be receiving any service. So we want to make sure that everybody knows this ahead of time. Okay, gone are the days where, no, I don't feel like doing this, you're going to do it my way. We cannot do that, because everybody's life is at stake right now. So there's going to be a certain protocol. There's actually going to be a small video that's going to be put out on what you guys are going to expect and what is going to be expected of you as the client, so that when you come in, there's not a lot of confusion and too much instructions. You will actually know this ahead of time. Okay, so basically, everything we're doing is that by the time you're coming in, you will be prepared. Studio is prepared. Everybody is on the same page. And we're excited that this is coming up, and coming up soon. So we just have a few more things. And I'm going to ask Edna, if anybody has any questions, please go for it and add. Someone said they were like, anything else that you would like to add? Anybody, any questions? All right, Edna, I'm going to invite you at this time to please talk about product availability and delivery. Edna? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. I see that you're not muted anymore, but I also cannot hear you. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe then we can have, oh, can you hear me, Edna? Okay, unmute. I've unmuted you, Edna, and your camera is on. Okay, since we don't know what's going on with Edna, I'm going to invite Martha to come and share with us about, oh, you can hear me, but we can't hear you. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to just have Martha hop on and speak, and then hopefully by then we can hear from you, Edna. All right, Martha, I welcome you to the floor to go ahead and address and share with us boosting immunity tips, or what is it called?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, for those who do not know me, my name is Martha, and yeah, I associate very closely with Studio 28. My topic today is very short. I think, I don't know, okay, Rigo, how many minutes do I have?
We have about 5.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, the topic that I'm given is immunity building. Right now, of course, everyone is thinking about immunity building, and basically, it's what you do to support organs and systems to function at maximum capacity. And there are a number of things that we can do, and some are very straightforward, but nevertheless, we don't do them well. One is sleeping well. I'll just start with the rather obvious ones. Is when you sleep well, is you actually give your body time to recuperate and to regenerate. So that helps the systems to be able to function well, yeah. And then when you cut out worry and unnecessary fear, it also does help us, because when we are too worried and too fearful, it's too toxic. And we're just secreting too much adrenaline, and we are on the, you know, in a flight mode. So we are actually hurting our organs. Then the other thing that is pretty straightforward is checking our attitude. And we know that when you're complaining all the time, when nothing works, again, that attitude doesn't boost our immunity at all. If anything, it's actually you're too angry to be happy, or I'm too angry to be happy. So basically, what we're looking at is to heal thyself and give ourselves room for regeneration. So sleep well, exercise if you can. If you can't, just take a walk. Of course, remember in Kenya, cover your mouth. Some of us are not able to walk out. You can do exercises in your house. I do exercises right in front of my TV the days I'm not able to walk. Where I live, I can be able to walk. It's not too crowded. Again, exposure to sunlight. This is so critical because of the vitamin D.
Yes.
Sorry, I meant sunshine, not sunlight. I'll talk about sunlight. Sunshine, you need vitamin D. It actually boosts immunity. So if you can be able to expose yourself for 30 minutes in the morning or late evening, even for the children, it's good. Sit at the balcony if you have sunshine coming through, or get out and be in the sunlight. Otherwise, you will need to take vitamin D supplements. We don't need to take vitamin D supplements in Africa. We should not. Then exposure to sunlight. This is different from exposure to sunshine. Exposure to sunlight is you allow light to hit the retina early in the morning before 9. Reason being is you actually are going to promote the secretion of serotonin that you need to sleep well. And that's why in winter in Europe, so many people suffer depression because they do not get enough sunlight hitting the retina early in the day. So they don't get enough hormones that support them to sleep. So please, even though we are home, make sure by 9, by 10, light has hit your retina. Open your curtains and be able to let light come through your eyes. It will actually help with your sleep pattern or your circadian cycle. Okay, the other thing is just immune boosters that we should probably look at, and most of us already know this, the vegetables. The raw ones are better, but if you can't eat the raw ones, then just eat cooked vegetables, but eat a lot. I mean, this is so important. The other thing that you can also encourage yourself to do is to get some herbs in your house. Get some oregano, get hold of some oregano from the supermarket if you can't grow any. some thyme, some ginger, garlic, turmeric. All these are known to have some antiviral properties. I can give you an example. I think one night ago, I woke up with a headache and I was feeling a little sore in my throat. I just jumped out of bed. I did not want to give any virus time. Jumped out of bed, made some tea, oregano tea and thyme, and I took several cups. And within like 2 hours, the headache had gone down and I woke up without any sore throat. Okay, lemon is good, moringa, baobab. Do we have any questions on that? I know this is where there may be a lot of questions. You can unmute yourself in case you need to ask a question.
I have a question for you, Martha. I recently just saw my holistic doctor. Part of what's going on with me right now in the US is like the season is transitioning, but at a very strange pace. I guess maybe it's minus pollution, right? And so by now when the weather is warmer, it's not. It's still quite cold here, you know? So I have a tendency to have eczema outbreak on my skin during seasons because of pollen, especially now, new leaves coming in, things like that. And I just spoke to my holistic doctor the other day and he said, sleep. You know, he's like, sleep more. I was like, what? What do you mean? And then he said, apparently when we sleep, we have a tendency to create cortisone. Is it? Yeah. Cortisone? Yeah. And then cortisone helps in terms of being able to fight bacteria and anything else and other things like that. But that was amazing. But then you also mentioned something about the retina. Are you saying exposing ourselves in the light like this? Does the sun have to hit us directly, or is it just looking out the window?
Okay, the sunshine shining on us is for vitamin D.
Right. Okay.
Your skin is able to produce vitamin D, so we don't need to take supplements in Africa. Where the sunshine is absent, you have to take vitamin D supplements.
But they also say that we're the ones who are most deficient with vitamin D. Is it because we're not hanging out in the sun enough as people of color?
Most people do not expose themselves to sunshine. We sit in offices for way too long.
Okay.
So someone goes to work or starts off at 5 and they stay in the office but up to 5 p.m. They have not had time, and then they're in the car and they get home back at 8 p.m. They haven't had an opportunity unless over lunchtime to get exposed to sunshine. So I was talking about sunlight. Sunlight is the light, just the light, normal daylight, getting to come through your pupil and hitting the retina. That is so critical. It's important. It affects sleep pattern. You're able to sleep more if the light can hit your retina by around latest 9:30, before 10 at least. It will help one be able to sleep better.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? I can just add. Yeah.
Thank you. This is Brenda. Just a question about the sunshine. Can you bask through a window, sit next to a window and let the sun come in? Do you get vitamin D that way?
Yeah.
Or must it be?
No, you don't have to go. As long as the sun is shining through the glass, it is okay.
Okay.
Not the light, the sunshine. The sun is hitting through the glass.
The warmth, yes, the heat and all.
The heat, yeah, you can. The heat is coming through from the sun directly to you. Of course, not at midday. At midday, it's a little too hot. In the morning and in the evening, towards evening, just maybe around 4-ish, and around 9 to 10. That would be probably the best time to be out. All right.
This is Wariko.
Yes, Wariko.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you in terms of the herbs that you said, and thank you for that information. I see this call is blessed with many little ones. What about dosage in terms of, you know, the younger generation and ourselves? Is there too much of thyme, oregano, or, you know, is there a dose that maybe, or even moringa, for example, that we should maybe consider instead of doing it daily, maybe every other day? Can you give us in terms of any precautions we need to take into consideration?
I would say that for the herbs, I would encourage people to make teas if possible. Let me take an example like ginger. If you took 2 cups of ginger or dawa, whatever people call dawa, it's okay. But then after like 5, 6, 7 days, you need to break, because it becomes ineffective if you just continuously take it. You need a break of like 3, 4 days, and then come back. You can take it continuously for another 5 days, and then you break. You have to break on everything. You have to take a break, so that it's more effective. So now, in terms of the herbs I mentioned, the most important right now is oregano, thyme, ginger, garlic if you can stand it, turmeric, and turmeric has to go with cayenne. Yes. So so don't take turmeric without combining it with cayenne. It becomes, the active ingredients are more activated by cayenne. Then cinnamon is good to take in tea. Lemon is a very, very common thing, but it's beautiful, particularly when you combine ginger and lemon. It's very good. Moringa is great. It's really an energizer. You can put it in uji, you can put it in juice, you can put it in yogurt. And baobab and moringa are very rich in vitamin C and also lemon. Some minerals that are important. I am anti-supplements. I know I'm a health worker. I'm not too much into supplements, but some that are so important like now is zinc, selenium. Those are critical right now to boost your immunity. But under normal circumstances, I am not a supplements person. And then we have the dark colored fruits. Whatever you can get your hands on, just take it. I will just make one addition for an emergency supply that you need to probably stock in your house is activated charcoal. People debate a lot about activated charcoal, but activated charcoal can save a lot. And like now, because we know it absorbs toxins. So if I got a sore throat, let me tell you what I would do. If I got a terrible sore throat, I would run and pick some powder, activated powder. I would put a glass of water, add 1 teaspoon of activated charcoal, and gargle. And I would gargle and throw it out because I don't want to swallow anything that might go near my airway right now. We don't know who will get this, but we can reduce the impact. I would gargle several times and throw it back into the sink. It is extremely important to keep activated charcoal in your house. The cardinal rule, just cut down on carbohydrates. It will help with boosting your immunity. So that's all I have. We don't have much time unless we have some questions.
So Martha, how could we give up our carbs? That's comfort food.
I know, even me, I fight to cut down. But what you can do is you can fill yourself up with, the one thing that I do is I make a lot of vegetables and I put in, beans, peas, some pieces of ndoma, some pieces of waru. And yeah, you can actually cut down bread and just simple carbohydrates. And the chapatis are the ones that are really dangerous. But we can cut down. I mean, if I was able to cut down, anyone can cut down. I don't know about the others, but The carbohydrates are filling and you feel good, but after a short while, you don't feel too good about it. And actually, it suppresses immunity.
Wow. Thank you so much, Martha. Does anybody have any questions at this point? We
Yeah,
drink
very quick
activated
one.
charcoal for stomach pains. Is that okay? Someone has asked that, Martha.
What? Come again?
Someone said, I think Mary, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, they say that they drink activated charcoal for stomach pains. Is that okay? Is that I think, is that okay to use that one?
Yes, it is, because it just absorbs toxins. Like if you've eaten food and you feel like your tummy is not okay, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Just take activated charcoal.
Where do you find it?
Activated charcoal, where you find it? I know there are people who sell activated charcoal out there, but should you not be able to get it, get back to me, and I'll try to connect you with somebody who can get you some.
I think also Healthy You might have it, actually.
Yeah, I think Healthy You might be having it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
we'll
if
check
the
that
worst
out.
comes to the worst, go to a chemist, ask for the tablets. The tablets, we don't encourage tablets so much because they must use something to bind the charcoal into tablets. But in the worst case scenario, just go to a chemist and buy some tablets. It's better than nothing.
Okay.
Can I just add about that activated charcoal? We actually use it these days for brushing our teeth. And I'm telling you, it looks, people often ask, what did you go see a dentist, or what are you doing to get your teeth so white? But it's the activated charcoal. Now, if you have a white toothbrush, and if you know what activated, there's an upside and there's a downside. You may look at your brush and feel like you never want to use it again. But if you rinse it out well, you might have to change your toothbrush often because it's left stained, right? Anybody else with any more questions before we move on to Edna?
Oh, there's a question. Yes. I saw there.
Yeah, what healthy sugar substitutes would you recommend? We had a conversation with Kirigo recently where she mentioned about maple syrup, which she uses. I doubt we have the maple tree in Kenya. Well, I'm not sure, but I just wanted to ask, are dates considered healthy as a sweetener, or are there other sugar substitutes that are healthy?
Actually, dates are very healthy.
Very good.
They're extremely healthy.
Yeah. And I think there's something about the date that doesn't trigger your sugar levels like processed sugar does. So yes, dates tend to be really sweet. Like I use them if I'm making like granola bars or things like that. I just chop them up and put them in that for baking. It tends to be kind of sweet with some orange juice. We can't hear you, Martha. I don't know what happened. Could you unmute yourself? Okay, hold on. I'll unmute you. There you go.
Oh, sorry. No. I was saying, if you're making something like a smoothie, a banana should be enough to sweeten.
Yeah.
And carrots also are good in sweetening. Of course, kids won't really taste, they won't think it's very sweet. So yeah, anything sweet as a fruit, you can use that.
Even cinnamon is a great sweetener, especially if you have the stick itself and you soak it in water. It tends to leave it sugary. Or yeah, I was gonna say, or one of the things that I've done too is like put a little, when you eat the pineapple, so I wash the pineapple, and because it's very high in alkaline, it's one of those fruits that you want to make sure you're ingesting often. I clean the skin and then I boil it, and I boil it with very low water. And by the time it's finished, like the mucus, it's almost like a syrupy something that comes out of that. I use that to sweeten my teas. or just drink it like that. So I think it's just being creative and knowing that when we're talking about sweetness, we're comparing to the already exposed tongue to all the sugar, you know, and years of it, like the brain has bought into. It's hard. It's hard to like just drop sugar just like that. Very hard. And carbs. At least for me it is. Let me speak for myself. But I do
If
it.
you're okay, if one is able to buy stevia, I think healthy, you may be having stevia powder. You can also use it, but for some people it has an aftertaste. But it is great. It is excellent. But for some people it has an aftertaste.
Any more questions, guys, on the health front? Martha, you've been awesome. Thank you for all the great tips.
Karibu.
And there's also honey for sweetening.
Oh, yes. Says the honey girl. Yes. Honey is awesome. And you can bake with that as well. Any more questions? Okay. All right. So we'll take the floor. Martha, thank you for your time. That was awesome. And we'll hand the floor over to Edna so that she could tell us about what to expect in this coming week. Hopefully we can hear you this time, Edna.
Hi.
There you go. Yay.
So I hope everyone is well. So studio is now open for product sales. So if anyone is interested in buying the products, we are requesting you to call the studio phone. And then the order of delivery will be, once you make the payment, we shall send a delivery guy with your products, and then you pay the delivery guy on delivery. So currently we have all the products in stock. And please note that it's first come, first serve, but we shall keep notifying you in case we run out of any products. Thank you.
Edna, how are they assured that the guy who delivers will uphold standards of sanitization and make sure things are safe? How can we assure the clients of that?
So we are using a delivery guy who has a sanitizer, and also the way we handle the products as we are packaging them, it's going to be under sanitization, and then also the guy will also have a mask. We are not sending anyone who is not practicing all those safety rules.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I think it's important that the clients know that we've been vetting a particular delivery person, not just anybody who's available, but some who's actually practicing all the safety rules.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, well, the virtual, anything else you wanted to add? Sorry.
And then we also plan to have virtual consultations soon. So the studio, we are going to send a flyer showing the services available for the virtual consultations, and then we shall also communicate on how to book for the appointments, and that should be starting from next week. All the stylists are getting trained on that, so we shall be able to accommodate everyone for and also support you with your hair care needs at this particular moment. We shall communicate through the social media handles and those also on the WhatsApp group. In case any of you is not on any of those, please communicate with the studio phone, and then we shall be able to add you on the group.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Thank you. That was precise and concise. That's to everybody who's been waiting for products. Yay, there's been relief. It is time for you to get your hands on your products. It's important that you obviously make sure you get the order straightened out ahead of time, and then the product will be delivered to you. That's great stuff. And I'm glad to know that we're moving forward. I just want to reverse a little bit and get back to how things are actually going to be running in the salon. Once your appointment has been made and you come in, we're going to be only having 3 clients in at the same time. 2 in the front, the regular space, and then 1 in the back. This way we are practicing safe distancing, making sure that everybody is safe, and that there's not a lot of like transition. So even when you get, the reason why it's important for you guys to keep your appointments is, let's just say for one, Edna's appointment is at 10, and then we've said that the other person comes around 11:45, because what we're doing is calculating that time that it takes to wash your client, that you've actually proceeded and completed that whole part of the first part of washing, sanitizing, and cleaning the client's hair. You've cleaned the sink, and now you've cleared the way, and then it's time for another client. Usually in the past, we didn't really think about that. We just passed each other as you know, as the way we felt safe. But now it's a new day and a new order. So timing is everything. So if anyone feels that they're going to be late, please communicate early, because everything is being done in a certain way that is ensuring protection for you and for the stylist. The other thing also is that we hear a lot of clients say, oh, I have my own mask. Actually, in this particular point, we're going to provide you a mask at studio, because we're going to ensure that that mask is safe, it is clean, it is protected, and then you're going to put it on. Okay, because people handle masks differently. You know, there's going to be a certain way we're going to handle a mask. And then when you use that mask, that's yours to keep. Don't, you know, you can have that. We don't want anyone using a mask and then leaving it behind. Just as we don't want any used masks making it into the space, because we don't know where they've been, just for your protection, contamination, and all of those things. Any questions? Anybody? Because we're coming now to, we have one more minute and getting ready to close. Any other questions? Well, in the meantime, while we wait, someone, great to hear the products are up for sale and precaution taken on delivery. Good stuff. Thank you. Yes, we pride ourselves on being on the leading edge. Like I said, we are always in connection with the experts. We are experts in Cystalox, and any other area where we're not experts, we're seeking the experts to tell us what they do best, and what they recommend that we should consider and do. And one of the ways is to, one, get a lot of information from you guys with your questions, and so that we're able to address them. Cressy says, yay on the products and product handling. We'll recommend that all payments to delivery be done via M-Pesa. Absolutely. We're actually encouraging that that is done via M-Pesa where possible. Exactly. As much as possible. I'm sure the delivery guys would mind, and perhaps what might work is that by the time he gets there, you guys might already have his number. So once he arrives and you get your package and you're ensure that you've received everything, then you can M-Pesa the gentleman, or whoever is going to be delivering. I've learned to stop using gentlemen all the time, assuming only men do that kind of work. But these days, women are on the forefront. I'm so proud of them. I saw a woman contractor the other day. She was driving this 17-wheeler, and I was just like, whoa, sis, big up. You know, I'm impressed with women, what we're doing out here. You know, we're like, that doesn't mean that I can't do it, you know? Anything else? Please touch on whether home consults will be available. Yes, I want to say yes, but we have to put certain measures in place. We do understand that some of you are young moms and may require home service, but there's certain measures that we need to put in place. And right now we have not come to all the fine-tuning details on that, because again, with everything is step by step. So we've managed to figure out the cleaning process. We've managed to get the protective gear. We are managing to figure out how we're going to schedule and stagger the appointments and the staggered opening. We've managed to make sure there's only 3 people. I also wanted to mention that the staff that will be working will only be working on a 2-week basis, because one of the questions that came up was, how do we ensure that the customers, everybody's going to be safe? So if the girls work for 2 weeks, that group stays home for 2 weeks, and then the next group stays home, because until we get a kit that we can test and ensure that everybody's safe, we can't tell, and only when we ask enough questions. There also will be a series of questions that you're going to be asked. Perhaps one of them might be, can you please hold your breath for 10 seconds? You know, and if you can't do that virtually, then you're going to be put on a waiting list until you can, because these are just some of the measures that we've learned that we can detect, you know, who is probably safer you know, than not, because we can't tell until we have an actual test. We're not doctors, but we do have some things that we could put in place to make sure that we're protected as much as possible. Edna wanted me to reiterate that that we shall not be accepting any cash payments. We shall be using M-Pesa because it's the most convenient, and again, it also protects everybody that's involved. You know, we know that's a sure way of staying safe. Otherwise, if there are no other questions, this is, I would say, the last series of our meetings. I'm so grateful for everybody who hops on. I do want to let you know, guys, that you are what we call dream clients, because you're loyal, you show up, and you are priceless to us. We want to also, you're welcome. We also want to make sure that on Mother's Day week, whether you're a mom or not a mom, because even if we're not moms, we have mothers, we're going to have what we call a Mother's Day jam. Okay, so on a day like today, you can wear whatever you want to wear. You can have a little glass of wine, but we're going to have a little bit of music. We're going to have a little bit of movement, and we're going to celebrate. Okay, so that even if we're indoors, that doesn't mean that we can't move, that we can't enjoy ourselves, and we're open for ideas on what you guys think we should do on that day. You know, so we'll have like prize winning competitions. Like right now, I don't know if you are aware that we have quarantine hair competition going on our Facebook page, and anybody who wins, what you do is put your picture in there and what you look like on quarantine, and then we're going to pick the #1 winner, and then the winner will get a free virtual consultation. The free ones tend to be shorter, but this particular one will be a regular virtual consultation that will be free to the client and serve their needs. So if you are ready, guys, get those photos, do those selfies, post them on Facebook, let us know what's going on. We want to see everybody's quarantine look. I'm surprised some of you look so good. You need to like be in fashion editing and telling us how we need to look at home in quarantine. I've seen some looks out there that are amazing, you know. Because for me, I'm a little bit more relaxed. I put on my sweaters, I put on my tights. I'm staying indoors. I'm staying safe. So, but if there's anything else that we can include or add to add more value to these meetings and to connecting with you guys before we get into the full flow of things, please feel free to share with us, to recommend. We're open.
No, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
There is something which I'm so happy about. That now we Studio 28, my favorite.
Yes.
To start at those appointments. Now, the handle which you are going to have is people like us who are not living in Nairobi.
Yes.
It's going to be very tricky. However, some of us, we can take some working, because some of us belong to the essential services.
Yes.
So I can just put on my badge and my uniform for the work, get inside that car, and I come to Nairobi, do it, and then I go back. So I think that one it will be okay for us. Otherwise, we are very, very happy for the way you are taking us, and we enjoy the journey. Actually, for me, I was so worried because I was counting I'm going to be over a month. And you can't imagine some of us are in the rural areas and what normally happens. So it is like we were saying now, she has to work with us and tell us what to do, because we don't want to fall back to the olden days, because we have already taken us to another world.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much. And may God bless you. This is a very good journey. And even now when you're talking of how to take care of ourselves, what you eat, some of us maybe we have been doing that by default without knowing, and there we are, and we are happy. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, sweetie. Thank you so much for sharing, for sharing that, and thank you for even bringing something that we had not really deeply thought about. Those of our clients that actually travel from afar, and actually because I think because of all the the limitations on not moving from one town to the next. So basically what I'm saying is, like, even we have a solution for someone like you, and is to basically or someone like you who cannot even travel, we have the virtual consultation so that we can address your particular need and give you a solution between now and when we can see you. So that's why we want to welcome you guys. That flyer is going to come out, and then you'll sort of have an idea of what works for you. But even as we move forward, it's going to be mandatory for each client to have a consultation to set up your appointment. Okay, so that this way it'll help us so that we can prepare for you. We want people to come in, we're ready for them, take care of them, and they leave. You know, that's what we want, so that everything is smooth, it's safe, it's sanitized, and it is pleasant for all that are involved. And thanks again, my dear. It's our pleasure doing this, you know, and it's our way of showing you guys how much we appreciate you. If we had never communicated that before, I'm hoping in these times that we come on this forum that we are getting to understand that, you know, we're more than just a place where you get your hair done. We're a place where it's a center for women, where we can come speak, be safe, be encouraged, laugh, which is what I love to do most, and look beautiful, you know, and remember our own natural beauty as African women. And so, Asante Sana, thank you so much. And everybody—
Kirigo, there was a question, a final question. There's someone asking, what's the cost of the virtual consultation?
I think Edna could answer that. Edna, are you in a position to answer that so that we have the right numbers?
Hi, everyone. So there are different types of consultation. There is a free one, which will be a maximum of 15 minutes. And then we have the normal Sister Locks consultation, like if you're trying to get your install, if you're trying to get that hair assessment, it will cost 1,000 shillings. And then we have, if you book in for the normal consultation and then it goes beyond 15 minutes, it shall cost an extra 500 for the first for that hour. But we shall communicate the details on the natural hair journey using a flyer so that it's clear for everybody.
Okay. Any questions beyond that? We're going to keep you informed every step of the way. Right now, we're just rolling out one thing at a time. We had talked about products over a week and a half ago, and now they're there and they're being put in bags. They've been sanitized. Everything is fumigated and everything, and they're getting ready to come to you guys. So that was step number one. Step number two will now be the consultations that are available for anybody, and wherever you are, that's going to be one-on-one with a consultant or Sister Locks provider, that they'll be able to give you tips on what you can do in that situation with your particular case in hand. And then there's going to be the mandatory 15 minutes for every client before you set up your appointment. And at this particular time, we'll have you do the 15 minutes, pay for your service, and then come on in. And that's how we plan on moving forward. And we do understand that even when you come in, we may go over the time, because we're not going to be working two stylists on one head anymore. It's going to have to be one-on-one because of the new rules and regulations. So it will take longer. You need to plan your day. You need to make sure that you don't have too many things scheduled in your day. And because it will definitely take longer. One, because we're pretty much all late for our retightening appointment. Two, it's going to be one individual person. Three, you've got a lot of new growth. Okay. So, but if more questions come up, what we want to encourage you to know is that the forum is open. Send them to the group. Send them directly to studio. However, and thank you again for mentioning, some other plans, secondary plans for people who are very far. Okay. Other than that, people, Natural Hair Community Studio 28 members, we love you. We're hoping that you guys are well. For those of you holding little babies, please hug them and kiss them for me. And it reminds me of those days. And I'm like, whoo, wow, it was just the other day I was doing that. now my people are bigger than me. So I think Wariko put her hand up. Do you have something to say, Wariko?
No.
Okay. Did you? You just wanted to put your hand up.
No, I hit it by
Everybody put
mistake.
their
I'm
hand
joking.
up. Okay. All right, people. We love you big. Take care. Have a great week. And add those immune boosting tips for you and your entire family. Thank you, Martha. I will be making sure every morning I get up, my eyes are getting that retina hit with that sunlight. Thank you. And stay well. Stay home and stay safe, people. Don't forget to put on your mask.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good night to you guys.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Ciao. I love that painting in the back. Is it, who's this? M who, Mav?
Oh, that's my, well, that's actually a photograph of, that's my husband's work. He's a documentary photographer.
Ooh.
And so that's a job a print of a job he did a couple years ago.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, thank
Wow,
you so much.
captivating. Yeah, it really just sends you to that time and moment, you know?
Yeah.
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 Wow. Mukulu. Yes. All right then. Thank you.
Okay, see
Thanks
you.
for sharing.
Yes.
Take care.
Okay, same to you.